So in today's video, I want to talk to you about this growing feeling of fear that we are likely all experiencing. And I want to talk to you about it in terms of the energetic aspects of why we might be feeling this fear at such an increased volume. And to do that, I'm going to put it into the context of sound as the tangible nature of sound, in that we understand it to be a frequency, but we also recognize that that frequency creates a response. So I want to reference it in terms of, say, the musical note C. So for example, we know that if someone plays a musical note, if they play a C on a piano, they hit the key, the sound vibrates out, it hits our auditory system. We recognize that to be a C, the brain interprets it, and we have a response to that. So sound is played, vibration is released, inner ear processes it, we hear a C. So there's actual physical aspects. And then on top of that, we have emotional responses to that as well. So sound is played, frequency comes in, hear it as a C, and then we go, oh, I don't like that sound. Or, oh, you know what, that sound is really relaxing. Or maybe we hear the sound and we think, you know what that reminds me of? This time when. So vibration, physical response, emotional response. And so if you can imagine a particular emotion as a frequency, which all emotions do have a very specific frequency. So right now we are really inundated with fear. So if you can imagine fear as being this note of C. So if you're walking through the mall and you're going along your day, feeling quite nice, and all of a sudden someone beside you starts playing a note, a C, in a high volume, right? Your system is going to come in, you're going to process that frequency, you're going to hear it as a C, and you're going to be like, you're either going to think, oh, that's really noisy, or it's going to hit and you're going to, oh, that sounds quite nice, and remember, right? And if it's one person playing that C, comes in at a volume that may be manageable, or maybe they're really playing it loud and it comes in, feels less manageable. But imagine now that every person in that mall is playing that sound of C. Not just one, not just two, not just the mall, the whole community. And not just the community, the whole country. And not just the country, the whole planet, right? Right now, we are all in some form, at some level, feeling fear. And you can imagine in the same way, if you have one instrument playing C, it's manageable. If you have many different instruments playing a C in orchestra, it's louder. It is more impacting. The brain is interpreting more, and we're having a response. So let's again come back to fear. The more we feel fear, the more the people around us are feeling fear, the stronger that vibration. And the same way that we take a sound in frequency and we interpret it and process it and then have a reaction to it, energetically we do the same with vibration. So if we are around fear at a volume that it is right now, that volume is going to do what we call entrain. And entrain is the scientific explanation for when a dominant frequency, a stronger frequency, oscillates in a way that a lesser frequency will come into a synchronistic pattern with that stronger frequency. And in the notes below, in the comments below, I'm going to put a couple videos in that'll explain that in more detail, because I don't want to spend too much time explaining that today. But basically the nature is a strong frequency will entrain a weaker frequency. So if all these people around us are resonating out fear, the volume, the dominance of that frequency, we are going to be receiving, and we will be entrained in some way by. Now, in the same way we just talked about, sound comes in, we interpret and we have a feeling towards it. When that frequency of fear comes into our energies, we're going to have an emotional reaction to it. It's going to hit parts of us that activate, we like to use the word trigger, the fears that we may be holding on to. So it comes in, it hits in a way that we feel suddenly activated, suddenly heightened, and the brain starts going. And it might not even be that the response to fear is the same as what we're experiencing on a global level. It might not be in response to health. It may be activating another fear in you. And you might find yourself, right, the brain going. You're like, why? Why am I thinking about this? Right? And that's irrational. That doesn't make sense, right? And then the next person you walk by experiencing fear, vibration high, hits the spot in us. We respond as a result of being entrained by that frequency. And the more we react, the more we become entrained, the more the people around us become entrained. You can imagine now that our community, our province, our country, the planet is vibrating out this frequency at incredible volumes in a way that is very real, in a way that we are very much experiencing it. And there are ways that we can support ourselves in being more present with that and in playing a different tune. So, for example, sitting at home, you're starting to worry about whether you've got the supplies you needed, you're starting to worry about work, you're starting to worry about the bigger picture of this, what's going to happen. Actually, you might even be worried about something, again, completely unrelated, right? Frequency of fear is going to hit and it's going to resonate with those frequencies in you. The first thing to do is honor it, validate it, right? It's a natural response to go, oh, that is ridiculous. Why am I thinking about that right now, right? We kind of tuck it aside. And what happens is the things that we resist persist. It's kind of bubbling up underneath, right? And it's not letting go. It's going to sit there and it's going to continue to heighten. So one of the ways in which we can support that is to validate, go, you know what? I'm feeling pretty anxious about what's happening around us right now. Wow, I really am feeling afraid right now, right? And that's understandable because there's a lot of fear around me, right? I think one of the important pieces to recognize in understanding this resonance is that you are not alone in this, right? You are not this sort of individual entity moving through time and space. We are a collective. We are consciously, energetically a collective, right? So be easier on yourself. Recognize there's a lot of fear around me right now, and it's understandable that I too am feeling afraid in whatever fear you're feeling, right? So validate it. If we give it a voice, if we recognize it, it takes some of the pressure off. Another tendency is to be like, that's ridiculous, they're being afraid, right? We're feeling fear, we're not sure why, and we don't necessarily want to process, so it's understandable to redirect our attention to focus on somebody else's fear, right? And again, that is not addressing or supporting the fear that you're experiencing. So again, come back in and validate it. The second one is to play a different note. If you have C's blaring all around you, entraining you, can you increase your volume in a frequency that is more compassionate, more kind, more calming. And there are a number of ways to do this. One of the ones that you may have seen online, and one of the ones, is to come to gratitude. So take a couple minutes and change the note to one of gratitude. What are you appreciative for? What are you grateful for? Play that sound. Resonate out that sound. Think of things that bring you happiness. Think of things that bring you joy. Everything in resonance. If you want to play a different note, spend time in a different note. This will not be easy. Frequency coming in, right? Why are you thinking about that when you should be feeling afraid? What are you grateful for? Think about someone and think of all the things you appreciate about that person. Spend time really nurturing a different vibration in a way that will allow you to be one of the people out there going about your day in training others. You know, we've all had experiences of that when, you know, in the opposite, we go into a room and we're feeling super calm and that room is just charged. And before you know it, we're overwhelmed, right? Or in the same way, we go into a room where people are having this amazing time. Maybe it's a celebration, maybe it's a concert, one of the spaces where, you know, we're loving, we're appreciating the music, and you walk in and you can't help but feel more engaged, more present in a positive way. So be that vibration. Find ways during your day to be in that vibration. Be one of those sources of resonance that supports others in a positive way. And finally, there are ways energetically and through energetic therapies that we can support calm in the body. And mindfulness is one, right? It takes us out of worrying and thinking about fear and redirects our attention somewhere else. So mindfulness, guided meditations. Do a guided meditation. Listen to one that is calming. Listen to one that is relaxing. Change the tone, right? Change the note that's playing out. And grounding. Spend some time grounding, right? Let go of some of that amplification that you're feeling in your system. If you're feeling like you might need some support in calming the system, if the system is feeling too inundated, if you're feeling too overwhelmed, then please reach out. I can talk to you a little bit more about strategies that can be supporting, or strategies that can be used to calm some of those energies so that you can inundate some practices for yourself. So again, be gentle to yourself. This is a very real experience that we're having right now, supported by the people around us, supported by the communities around us. And the more time we can spend being the person that resonates out kindness, the person that resonates out gratitude, the person that resonates out joyfulness, the more we can help to alter the vibration and, again, contextually the music playing around us. So I encourage you to message me if you have any questions, or if you want to talk further about how to support yourself in this environment. And thank you for listening.